reality of our game is that nearly 87% of Pakistani and Bangladeshi people have suffered discrimination in cricket. 82% have suffered discrimination. Indian people have suffered discrimination in cricket. 75% of black people have suffered discrimination in cricket, and 50% of everyone has suffered some sort of discrimination in cricket. I think it's a really sad day for us all that have been involved in the game, and hopefully we can use it as an opportunity to make our game great again.
The other damning thing, Azeem, I guess, is not just the discrimination in itself, which is bad enough, it's the reaction to it. And another one of the findings that the complaint system is confusing, overly defensive, not fit for purpose, the Commission says, for both victims and those accused. And that was something you encountered yourself.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that I've experienced that in its entirety. I think the whole regulatory system and the recommendation about taking the regulatory powers into an independent body, I think is very important. It just doesn't work. And, even now, even today, while we've had, such stark numbers, we've still got a large part of cricket in denial. I've just received a message from someone who plays in the county game, which says, I could hear the lads around me just discussing the report and undermining it. I don't feel like I can single myself out by speaking up, not yet. But I'm glad that someone else is. This is the reality of our game, and it's all well and good the ECB executives apologising and setting out a plan. Unfortunately, a large part of the playing group and certain sections of the press are just not ready to accept it.
What do you think needs to be done, Azeem?
Steve, I've been very clear. This is not a big fix that's going to happen with one big magic wand, right? I like the fact that they're going to take 3 months to, create a strategy, but I would like them to have 3 clear points that they look at, which is going to take them to change. For me, the regulatory stuff is right at the top because that creates a framework and it creates accountability, which is very important. I think the education element is really important, but it's not like a PowerPoint once. When PCA are doing a trip around the country for an hour a season, that's not real education. And then I think we've got to actively create opportunities. But also the one thing, the report says that there's distrust, right? And the game and the ECB create that distrust. So it's for the game and ECB to go out and create that trust back. And I think that's going to happen with proper actions and not just words.
It's quite troubling to hear that a player has just said to you he's been listening to some other players talking about it and undermining it, because so much of what we've been hearing today from listeners has been about the cliqueiness of a lot of clubs, and that's just not a professional level. It's right through the chain and trying to break in to that. And it sounds like there's still a lot of that mentality amongst some of the guys that benefit from the status quo and the system as it is. Azeem saying, well, we're all right, pull up the ladder, and that's not changing. There's no real soul searching. Any of those people thinking, maybe there are things wrong about what we're doing at the moment.
Well, there's the stuff in the report about the private school links, the cost barriers, and it ultimately needs the people that have not been discriminated against to become better allies. I haven't experienced that. I'm not seeing any progress in that. Even this morning, Michael Atherton's article in the Times, every opportunity, this, powerful bloke with a huge platform, has never spoken to me, has never spoken to Lord Patel, but every opportunity has tried to undermine my experiences, my experiences that have been proven over and over again. And it's hurtful, it's sad. I just hope that today, I just felt like hopefully today would be the day that we would take likes of Michael and his friends on a journey of education and try and explain to them what it's like to live in these shoes. But clearly, even this is sort of not acceptable to some people.
So you'd welcome a conversation with Michael Atherton, I take it, to talk about this if he's listening today?
I would welcome a conversation with anyone. We've reached out to him several times and had to no avail. But there's a phrase in his article that something along the lines of a lot of people have positive experiences. Well, depends which demographic of people you're talking about, because this report tells us that a lot of people don't. Nearly 1 in 9, 9 in 10 Pakistanis and Bangladeshi people suffer discrimination. So I just hope that these powerful figures within our game can actually really do the game a lot more service than their runs and what they did on a cricket field.
The chair of the ECB, Richard Thompson, said we're going to reset cricket. You say you touched on what you'd like them to do. How hopeful are you? How confident are you that we could be talking in 2-3 years' time and we start to see change and we don't recognise the game we were talking about today?
Look, I mean, I'm a glass half full. I live in hope, but it's important that, ECB doesn't just feel like, get the 3 months out of the way and then little updates and back to its old self. We all have got a responsibility to make sure that, because there's a lot of people that have gone through a lot of hurt and pain over the last few years, and have sacrificed a lot. And if it doesn't come to a positive, then what was it all for? I want to be able to look back and go, you know what, it was worth it. And it's making a difference in people's lives, and it's making our game what it should be. At its best, cricket is an incredible force for good. And that, I'm just very hopeful that that's where we'll get to.
Just one final question on your old county. You'll be aware that we've been talking about today in our news bulletin, Yorkshire potentially facing a fine of £500,000, deductions of up to 72 points for what happened to you and other players at that time at the club. What's your reaction to that?
The sanctions part is it's not something I've really sort of looked into or really paid much attention to. I think it's important that as long as they're not going to go bankrupt, I think there should be no leniency. Because it needs to be made very, very clear that this is unacceptable. Because that's what we've been told that's going to happen. So that's my view on that. I'm more interested in if Yorkshire really changing. That's what I'm more interested in. Are they really getting better? I've seen PR initiatives. I've seen community and faith organisations. I've seen events, and these little things help, but they're not the only solve. And Yorkshire have still not released their whistleblowing report. 162 people spoke on that. They've still not got their response, and I'm aware of a live case there currently, which is possibly worse than mine. So I'm more interested in how they're going to improve and how they're going to change, as opposed to the sanctions by the CDC.